Hi Aries, how are you? This is Shooting Stars Tarot. Welcome to your September love and general reading. The extendeds are up also. So excited to be back doing these. All right, Aries. What are the messages and energies for Aries? I think as we're leaving this Leo season, your sister fire sign, it definitely, the energy has shifted. We all feel it. And I think there's a much more optimistic view of things in general, specifically of yourself and your capabilities. All right, what are the messages for energies and energies for Aries? And as we move into Virgo season, well, we're there now actually, it's like there's this grounding, it sounds so cliche, it's like there's this grounding energy of like, okay, here I am now. How am I going to make these changes? But with an optimistic view. See? You see that? It doesn't mean everything's fixed and everything's good, but you feel solid in the shift. You're very optimistic about the shift. And we can see that here with the High Priest, the Hierophant, the underlying energy. So there's structure put in place into things that you're wanting to do, where you want to go. And it's not, I love to see this. I know there's some interesting cards here that kind of have a negative connotation, but there's a really interesting shift, right? There's definitely clarity. Hold on one second. All right, sorry about that. I got a call that I had to take. So there is now, as we move into Virgo season, a great deal of clarity that has to do with why this has been occurring. So things, and I'm not going to say things have not been going well, but there are things that you're realizing now at this point that are becoming very clear to you about where the structure in your life needs to take hold. And this may be something that you've been trying to do here with this Four of Pentacles, but the approach was not the correct approach. And what it ultimately was causing for you, you were trying to create this structure, you were trying to change this around, you were trying to get the clarity, but by withholding and receding and pulling back, it definitely caused a feeling of failure. And then now there's this realization that's taking place in September where the transformation needs to occur. And ultimately, it's a massive shift for you, Aries, because you were really trying. You were really trying to put forth the right energy, the right changes, and realizing now that it was the wrong approach. And so by shifting your approach, you're causing this ending to allow you to move into a whole new phase. And so part of that in September, Aries, is this Nine of Pentacles reversed. And the Nine of Pentacles reversed is a very interesting card to have as the central energy for you, because it has to do with the feeling of not having enough, or not being stable in a place, or not enjoying your independence, not having enough money, or not having the right relationship and wanting to be in one. It's like when we focus, and I'm going to say this is very cliche, but when we focus on what we don't have and what we want to change, and it's coming from that negative place, it does bring a great deal of awareness when we can open up ourselves and open up our mindset to realize that we might be the cause of this by doing this. So there is this opening up, and I'm actually going to title your video, there's this opening up, not necessarily to others, but opening up to concepts, to ideas. And Aries, you really are normally open-minded. But I think you can get very stuck in your mindset and stuck in your ways and think that this is the only way. And you keep trying to do this, you keep trying to do this, but ultimately what it's bringing you is this feeling of failure. It's like you're realizing now that what you have been doing is not getting you where you want to go. So again, we see this opening up. Instead of trying to control the situation, instead of trying to, and you normally don't one-up, right? I'm not saying you're one-upping and it's a negative situation all the time, but there has this energy with this card that has to do with overpowering, over controlling, trying too hard. If you just want to lighten it up in that aspect, trying too hard to make yourself feel like a victor. And really, there needs to be this opening up and this graciousness that takes place. And that understanding can definitely be an ego blow. It can definitely be an ego blow. And it can cause confusion. Now, this is part of the clarity that you're obtaining in September, Aries. Okay? There's not all these options. You don't want all these options. You don't have to go in 50 different directions all the time to try to find the one that works. And through this realization, you're now coming into a place where you can let go of that trying so hard, that worry, that frustration that comes so heavily with the Nine of Swords. And look at this. Withholding, realization, understanding of where you may lack financially, emotionally, stability-wise. And just through that understanding of where this shift is going to take place and where these changes you're going to make are, we all of a sudden there is a blow to an ego, and it can be a humbling experience, but in a good way. You're shifting that humbling experience into something very positive, narrowing down. You're going to have the answers that you need, and that's going to be very clearing for you. It's not always about seeing what's on the other side of the fence. The grass doesn't always you don't have to always think that the grass is greener on the other side. Right? This has to do with communication, but communication about what's next, what we're going to do. It's not so much about communicating this month. It's about doing. It's about understanding, slowing down. And look what happens. Look what happens. Oh my gosh, look what happens, right? You are no longer in mental paralysis. You're no longer going to be in a place where you're holding yourself back. And it's going to breathe a whole new facet of energy into your life. And enter Virgo season. It's about doing. It's about being able to build and grow and have energy because you're coming from a place of understanding what you need to do. You're making these shifts. You're not relying on somebody else. You're not relying on your job to make the shifts. You're making the job. You're making the shift in your mindset, in your energy, in your action. Okay? There's a great deal of ownership that's coming this month to you from all of this. Massive transformation. Now we can say, Mars is still retrograde. We're moving in that, Mercury's no longer retrograde. So we can go to that higher level and look at it like that. But this has to do with more of a core understanding of your own belief system, your own mindsets, and where you're putting your energy and your expectations on yourself. There's a grounding effect taking place here. Okay, let's pull some outcome cards and then we'll get into the extended. I'll pull some oracle cards in the extended. I'll do a high-level spiritual overview. And then we'll do a lot of clarifying. And that link's below, just like it always is. Spirit and Universe, what are the outcome messages and advice and guidance for Aries this month in September? What are the outcome messages and advice and guidance for Aries this Virgo season? off the top of the deck. Yes. So the Seven of Pentacles reverse, the Seven of Pentacles upright has to do with feeling tired, feeling like the work. There's this understanding with this card that feeling like the work you have been doing is not netting the results that you want, but you're also seeing the benefit of what you have done. So there's this energy of being tired and exhausted with this card, but also having that urge to keep going. With this reading, this reversal is important because it has to do with what you need to stop doing so you can keep moving forward in a certain direction. So you're realizing that you may be involved in a lot of different things, right? Work, hobbies, exercise programs, maybe, trying to figure out what's going on with your love life, all of that stuff. But I think, and that's why the Ten of Wands is such a prominent card for you, because you tend to just layer on and layer on and layer on. And this month, I think you're going to be stopping, adding to, and you're going to be deciding what is working and then making that shift with that. And while you want to always be doing more, and it's difficult to slow down, right, and to focus on what you want, that can be you can feel a little debilitating, but in the end, it actually has a very, very positive benefit for you. Maybe you're socializing too much. You're going to scale that back. Still be open, but you're going to not be socializing for socializing sakes, right? You're going to be you're going to pinpoint where you want to put your energy. It's not going to be going here and doing this and seeing this and going to this networking thing and going to this meeting and la 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 la. You breathe a lot of life into those events and into those people, but there's going to be a slowing down. So while you're still open, it's very selective. It's very selective. You're not worried about what other people are doing. You're wanting to stay. Right? Because you're realizing that unless you make these changes, you're not going to reach that emotional fulfillment that you're always trying to get. I mean, everybody is. But there's a slowing down. You're bringing that focus back to yourself. All right, Aries, I love you. I'm going to continue the extended. We're going to pull a whole other layer. We're going to talk a lot more in depth. And I love you, and I'll see you in my dailies. All right, bye, Aries.